Hi, my name is Charnay. I have a daughter that has been diagnosed with alopecia. I have been a client for Freestyles for about a year now, and I'm proud to announce that my daughter is a rich girl. Well, my daughter was diagnosed around 4 years old, and at first it started as a dime-sized, real small section of her hair where it was just bald. And I honestly thought maybe I combed too hard on her hair, maybe she pulled it out. But the more and more it came out, the more and more I started thinking like, no, it's something happening. And then prior, we actually went to a water park, and I thought that maybe she got ringworm or some type of fungus from being in the water. But when I went to the doctor, they said she doesn't have ringworm, she doesn't have any fungus, there's nothing wrong with her. They didn't even know. The first doctor, the pediatrician, matter of fact, didn't know what it was. So they referred me to a dermatologist. But before I talk about that, I was seeing more and more when I combed her hair that more patches were coming out. And the combs and my brushes, and I was like, there's something wrong with my baby, but I don't know what it is. So fast forward to going to the doctor, pediatrician didn't know what was happening. So they referred me to the dermatologist. Went to the dermatologist said, oh, your daughter has alopecia. I'm like, what is that? They were just like, that's just when your hair falls out. Kind of like as you age, your hair just starts to fall out and it just happens. And I was like, but she's 4. So how does she go from a head full of hair to it just falling all the way out as if she's 60, 70 years of age? That doesn't make sense to me. So I was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So I was in denial. I was confused. Just a little saddened because I was like, these doctors don't know what they're talking about. So, of course, I couldn't just ignore it. So I went to another dermatologist. That dermatologist said the exact same thing. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to Google this. Maybe I need to do some research on what alopecia actually is. So when I found out it was an autoimmune disorder that you really have no control over, that's when I said, maybe I need to look into my background, look into her father's background. And then we found that there are people within our that we're related to that has this genetic disorder. So I'm thinking now, okay, this is serious because this could be hereditary. But I was also really concerned because I was like, how does this affect her health? So I took her to another doctor. I took her to an immune specialist to think maybe it was something she was eating. Maybe she was allergic to something. They said she wasn't allergic to anything. So again, I'm back to like, why is this happening to my child? Why is this happening to me? You know, little girls, their main concerns most time is how's my hair, how's my face and my clothes and things. And so then it just kind of began that journey of, okay, well, if this is what we're going to have to deal with it, how do we overcome this? So that is when I took her to another doctor. I won't say her name, but she was like a tracheologist. She did some treatments and it just wasn't effective. By the time she reached 8, she had hair. However, it was a pattern where it started to fall out in a snake pattern. And then I was like, okay, it's something. It's not whatever this alopecia is. It can't be that, because when I Googled it, I didn't see these same trends. However, I did find out that it can be different in different people, different children, adults. So once I came to terms to where this is real, my daughter has alopecia, that's when we started reaching out to see what other options we have. And that's when I met Brianna. At first I didn't. Of course, being 4 years old, you don't know better. However, once she started going to kindergarten, that's when I was starting to see just a small change, and just where she would come home and say, oh, well, kids at school asked me why I have my hair like this, or why do I wear caps, why do I wear wraps and things like that. So I had to explain to her, well, that was just to, cover basically your head, just so you can be protected, so you won't get, stares or bullied. But don't worry about them. I try to basically be positive and just pour nothing but positivity within her. As she got older, I think she became more shy, more reserved in her personality. She felt that she couldn't speak up and speak out and just be a part of the normal children, because she did feel different. She did feel that she wasn't like the other girls. She also asked me if she can have her hair styled different ways, and there was no possible way for that to happen. And after doing just some more research, I found, Brianna, she does kids wigs, and that's when it kind of turned around to where she was able to fit into normal society. Well, actually, I found out about Bree Styles through her cheerleading squad. The coach actually decided to say, well, they have to have their hair in ponytails. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to have it in a ponytail when we don't have any hair to put in a ponytail? So luckily, Brianna was a part of the same cheerleading squad when she was younger. So the director referred me to her, told me to look at her Instagram. And once I checked her out on Instagram, I was like, oh yeah, she's very talented. So we reached out and she got us in. And I decided to get her a wig because I want her to be able to have those options to style her hair in ponytails and braids and twists and curls, and it not be a problem, or not for her not to feel as if she has to be restricted in certain areas, especially with hair. She was ecstatic. I think at first she was a little reserved within her feelings because she was like, this is different. But then after we left, she was in the mirror, checking, she was smiling. I think she had a glow about herself that I haven't seen in a very long time. And it was just really enlightening for me as a parent to make sure I keep up my daughter's appearance the same way I would if she did have hair, if she didn't have hair, or just myself as well. I I want her to feel as if she can be inferior, and if she has a wig or if she doesn't have a wig, I want her to feel like she has the options just like any other child. So I definitely wanted her to get this wig because I wanted her to feel like she could, do it all, do anything really. The scale of 1 to 10, I would refer, or I would give them an 11, because I know my child has did a 360 with your wigs. You are so talented. Well, Bree Styles is so talented because I wasn't able to get my daughter twists and curls and updos and ponytails. And for her to come in and be able to design wigs that fit my daughter, for one, and for her to have childlike styles, that was major. And I I would recommend that any parent reach out to her, and she's so polite. Customer service is awesome. She's amazing, and I'm so glad I ran into Free Styles because, again, like, I'm here every other week getting my daughter a new wig, new style, just so I can build her confidence. I've even seen her whole personality just blossom just because she's able to fit in and have these same styles as every other girl, and it can't nobody tell her anything. They can't tell her a thing. So I know it contributes from you. It contributes from, myself building or pouring positivity within her, telling her she's beautiful with or without the wig. But because she has those options, it's just a blessing.